everybody, my name is Grace and today I'm going to finish the book Who is George Lucas? Chapter 9, Back to the Ranch. George retreated to the new Skywalker Ranch. The ranch had a huge library under a stained glass dome that housed thousands of films and TV shows in different formats. It contained a collection of press clippings, ticket stubs, pictures, scripts, music scores, and production reports. Over 100 years of movie history. All of George's companies moved to Skywalker Ranch, which grew to 4,000 acres. George loved being a father to young Amanda. He adopted another daughter, Katie, born in 1988, a son and a son, Jet, born in 1993. Now that George was the father of three, he thought a lot about his own childhood. He spent much of it bored in school. He founded the Lucas Educational Foundation in 1991 to find ways to educate children through entertainment. In 1992, George produced the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles for television. The series starred Indiana as a young boy and a teenager. He traveled the world meeting famous people and witnessing history. Carrie Fisher, who played Princess Leia in the Star Wars trilogy, wrote an episode. Harrison Ford appeared in another. Hollywood honored George with the prestigious arriving G. Albert Memorial Award in 1992, 3 months after George Sr. died. It was presented by Steven Spielberg, who had won in 1986. George thanked his many teachers and friends, especially Coppola, saying, "Thank you, Francis, for being my mentor." In 1994, Lucasfilm's ILM division created effects for Jurassic Park, a movie directed by Steven Spielberg about dinosaurs being reborn in the modern world. Jurassic Park was a turning point in the movie-making technology. The film regarded as a landmark and its use of computer-generated imaginary. According to George, the first time he showed test footage of textured breathing dinosaurs to Steven and the crew, everyone had tears in their eyes. Looking at the dinosaurs made George think about the special effects he had dreamed of putting in Star Wars back in 1977. Technology and the effects wizards at ILM have finally caught up with the George's imagination. He was ready to make a new Star Wars film. Chapter 10, Episode 1. In the years since Return of the Jedi, Star Wars had never really gone away. In 1978, George oversaw the publication of Splinter of the Mind's Eye, a novel by Alan Dean Foster that took place in Star Wars universe. In 1987, West End Games introduced a role-playing game. The games filled in details about the universe that George approved and then handed over to other writers. In 1991, Timothy Zahn wrote Heir to the Empire, and the book kicked off a new wave of Star Wars. Enthusiastic, more books followed. By the time George announced his plan to make more Star Wars movies, the universe had become bigger, more complex, and even more involved. Beloved. The 3 new movies George planned were prequels, the action taking place before the stories in earlier films. To finance the new films, he decided to re-release the original trilogy in theaters. Hollywood was skeptical. Why would people buy tickets for old movies? The first three had come up 20 years earlier. All had already been shown on television. But once again, Hollywood was wrong. Fans waited on long lines to see them again. Many adults who had loved the movies as kids were now taking their own children to see Star Wars. They bought their old lightsabers. Star Wars was released on January 31st, 1997. Empire was released 3 weeks later, and Jedi was 3 weeks after that. The film topped the box office once again, earning $138 million, $67 million, and $45 million, respectively. On May 19, 1999, the first of the prequels, Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, opened in theaters. This time, no one was surprised when it broke box office records. It spawned popular video games like Star Wars Episode I Racer, which let players race the young Anakin in the movie. Phantom Menace was followed in 2002 by Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith in 2005. George directed all 3 films himself, and his children in small roles. And Revenge of the Sith in 2005. George directed all 3 films himself, and his children appeared in small roles. The 3 prequels tell the story how Luke's father, Anakin Skywalker, became first a Jedi hero and then tragically the evil Darth Vader, who is the villain of the original trilogy. In the first film, The Phantom Menace, Anakin is a 10-year-old slave on Luke's home planet of Tatooine. The actor Hayden Christensen portrayed Anakin as a young man in a second film, Attack of the Clones. As a boy, Hayden had played at being a Jedi Knight with his friend. The first time a fight scene was filmed for the movie, George had to remind Hayden not to make the lightsaber noises himself, as he did as a young boy. Some characters from the original trilogy appear as their younger selves. Obi-Wan was played by Edward McGregor, whose uncle had appeared in all 3 original movies as pilot, Wedge Antilles, R2D2 and C-3PO also appear, as do the child Boba Fett and a younger swashbuckling Yoda. The last movie, Revenge of the Sith, ends with the birth of Luke and Leia on the death of their mother, the heroic Padme Amidala. The movies were followed by the hugely popular animated TV shows Star Wars and Clone Wars. In 2012, George became engaged to Melody Hobson, who was working for Steven Spielberg's film company, DreamWorks. Melody said that she knew right away George was the one for her. But they dated years before George popped the question. When he did, he admitted he'd been carrying around the ring for 6 months. They married in Beverly Hills in 2013. But by then, Lucas had announced he was selling Lucasfilm to the Walt Disney Corporation for $4.05 billion. Now it's time to pass Star Wars on a new generation of filmmakers, he said. Disney announced that a new Star Wars movie would be released in 2015 with Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford appearing as the original characters. In August 2013, Everest Hobson Lucas, George and Melody's daughter, was born. Would George finally retire? Probably not. It was Skywalker Ranch he brought to life the idea that he originally imagined for American Zoetrope, an independent movie studio far from Hollywood. Though Lucasfilm, ILM, and Skywalker Sound, George Lucas had continued to change and influence the way movies are made. Nobody knows what George Lucas would do next, but whatever it is, the Force will certainly be with him. So that's all of chapter 9 and chapter 10, and I will see you for the review.